Okay, so for today's lesson, what we are going to do is add and subtract radicals. Just don't forget that when you add and subtract radicals, it's just like you're adding and subtracting like terms, almost like you're dealing with variables. So the first step that you have to do is make sure that you simplify radicals if you need to. And then here's the biggie. Treat radicals like you would variables. You only combine like terms. Okay? So before we even do number one, if we were to change everything into variables instead of radicals, it's almost like you're saying, okay, well, 6x plus 5x minus 3x. And we're dealing with just these x's here, which happen to be radical 7s. Well, 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. So you already know that this would just be 8x. Dealing with the square roots is no different. They're like radicals. So 6 plus 5 minus 3 is 8. And what are we talking about? We're talking about rad 7s. Okay? On the next one, we have like radicals again. They're both radical 3s. You need to remember that this guy is 1 rad 3. So if I've got negative 5 rad 3 plus 1 rad 3, all I have to do is combine those like terms, and I really get negative 4 of those rad 3s. Okay, the next one, you don't have like radicals. So what you need to be able to do is to simplify these things and see if you end up getting like radicals. So what happens here is I take my radical of 48 and I use my square root chart, and I realize that radical 48 is the same thing as radical 16 times radical 3. And then I work with my 5 radical 12, and I realize that radical 12 is radical 4 radical 3. Well, 16 is a perfect square. 4 comes out. 4 is a perfect square. 2 comes out. And then what we have here is 4 radical 3 minus 10, right? You got to multiply these guys, minus 10 radical 3. You do have like radicals. 4 take away 10 is negative 6, and we're still talking about the radical of 3. Let's take a look at 4. Radical 20, radical 80, radical 125. Use my perfect square chart, and I realize that 4 is the largest perfect square into 20, so that becomes 3 radical 4 radical 5. Out of 80 I can get 16, so 80 becomes 2 radical 16 radical 5. And 125 I can divide by 25, so I get minus 4 radical 25 radical 5. Well, if I deal with all those perfect squares, out comes a 2, out comes a 4, out comes a 5. And now I have 3 times 2, or 6 rad 5, plus 2 times 4, which is 8 rad 5, minus 4 times 5, which is 20 rad 5. They're all like radicals. 6 plus 8 is 14, and 14 minus 20 is negative 6 rad 5. Let's take a look at the last one. So 4 rad 3, can't do anything with it. I'm going to keep it as 4 rad 3. 3 rad 75 is 3 rad 25 rad 3. 2 rad 45 is minus 2 rad 9 rad 5. And then 8 rad 20 is minus 8 rad 4 rad 5. Let's see. 5 comes out of here. 3 comes out of here. 2 comes out of there. And then we've got 4 rad 3 plus 15 rad 3 minus 6 rad 5 minus 16 rad 5. Like radicals, I'm going to see those here. And then you're also going to see those here. So rad 3s end up having 19 of them. Rad 5s end up having negative 22 of them. Final answer. That's it. So again, Not difficult. You just need to be able to simplify your radicals, which goes to yesterday's lesson. And then you need to be able to combine like radicals, which is just like combining variables. You can only combine like terms. Good luck.